the garage. Give it up. And of course, I didn't hit the live on the Tiki-Talkies. Hi, TikTok. We are live with you here. And I have to go live on Instagram. And now we're live everywhere, guys. It is just live, live, live. Live, guys, live. Live entertainment. We are going to talk about MOMTOK. And we did so many crafts, guys. I forgot to turn my lights on. And now we're ready to rock and roll. Now we're here. Now, okay, guys, I have even more people today to show you. Yeah, this is much excite. So here we go. We're gonna introduce the couples because in episode 3, guys, I took so many notes about this. This is not even a joke. I have to pull up. That was the wrong one to put away, Nora. See? No, absolutely not. That's not the one I want. I have notes for my show for tomorrow, which is going to be a deep dive into, there we go, put that back. And then this one goes away. So let me pull up my notes here, guys, because this is going to be wild today. Episode 3, I thought episodes 1 and 2 were wild. But yeah, episode 3, guys, is, yeah, it's super out there. So let me pull up my notes. Where did my notes go? Here we go. Here's the notes. All right. So episode 3 starts out at Macy's house. But before we get to that, I want to show you all of the new characters. So Layla, she still stands alone. The cheese stands alone here because she doesn't have a husband. Okay. And that's okay. I mean, you know, everybody doesn't have to have a husband. That's all right. But this is Layla. She's all by herself. All right. So then we're introduced to all the husbands. So we have Jen, who now on every Chiron has to be listed as Jen Affleck. Okay. And of course, this is her husband, Zach, with no K, just Z-A-C. This is the couple here, Zach and Jen. Okay. They're going to come in important later. All right. So I'm going to set them aside because I need them pretty soon here. And then, of course, we have Macy, and we got to meet her husband, Jacob. He's 28. So these two are a little couple here. Okay. Now, of course, we have Jesse and Jordan. Look at this guy. What a bajumba. Jesse and Jordan, they're both 30. Okay. They're one of the older couples on the show. All right. We have Michaela and her husband, Jace. Okay. Like they go together here. These two. All right. Now, this is the most controversial couple. I got a lot of feedback about what I said about Demi, like Demi Moore, Demi, and her husband, Brett. Okay. This is from the episode, The Pool Party here. Now, Demi is 29, Brett is 46. I want to show you guys now a TikTok explaining my outrage. Okay. So let me pull up this TikTok here. I'm going to mute it so that I don't get demonetized like I did yesterday. Okay, so we're bringing up the TikTok. This is on Demi's page from February 21st, okay, this TikTok. And it's her and her husband dancing in this laundromat. They're dancing to a song, okay? And right now, 1, 2, 3, and here we go. They're doing a little dance. Oh, please hold. So he was born in 1977, 1 year after me. She was born in 1994, the year I graduated high school, 1 year before him graduating high school because he graduated in 1995 when she was 1. Okay, so there is a, you know, guys, it says he's 46 right now, which means he hasn't had his birthday yet, but he's turning 47 this year, or he's already 47, but he was 46 at time of filming. Okay, let's just not get it twisted. She was 1 when he graduated high school. He is Gen X. She is Gen Z. Okay, that's a big difference. Okay, guys, I know. And the reason why I say it's a big difference, my mom and my stepdad who she was married to for 33 years, okay, they were 22 and a half years apart, guys. 22 and a half years apart. Now, let me just explain this to you guys, okay? So when they first got married, my stepdad was 60 and my mom was 38, okay? She had just turned 38. He was turning 61 at the end of that year because his birthday was in December. It was a literal May-December romance. Okay, so because of this, at first, the age difference, not that big a deal, right? He was still doing 100-mile bike rides on his like little 10-speed bike. He was very active, doing jazzercise 3 times a week. Okay, this was the 80s. Jazzercise was a thing, guys. Don't judge. Okay. Then, as time went on, my mom is now 76. When my stepdad passed, he was in his 90s. Okay. He got severe dementia. He got very disabled towards the end of his life. It was very horrific. Okay. My mom is not at the end of her life at 76, but this is what's going to happen to these two, right? He is very much older. He will start in the, end of life phase 20 years before her. Okay. So that's kind of a big deal when you're like putting your future together. You have to think about that. Right? You do. I mean, it's just something that you have to like keep in mind. Right? So yeah. And also she was 1 when he graduated high school, guys. Okay. Let's finish up the couples here. Of course, you guys know Dakota and, Taylor. These are important peeps here. Now, I want you guys to vote on Whitney's husband because I made 2 of him. Okay. So here's Whitney. Her husband is Connor. Okay. Hi. And do you like pink hat, Connor? So just put in the chat, hat or no hat. This is the same guy. But this is a still from one of their TikToks, and this is from the 3rd episode. So what do you guys think? Hat, no hat. I need to know in the chat if you guys are like loving the hat or no hat. So what do you think? Hat. Okay. The hat is coming in overwhelmingly. I'm going to put other Connor aside. Maybe we'll use him later, but we've taken the vote. Okay. So episode 3, I have to separate my people here a little bit so that I can get to the correct people at the correct time because it goes in with the storyline later, guys. Okay. You will find out in a moment what I am talking about. I'm just literally laying Mormons all over my desk. There's just Mormons everywhere. It's a Mormon party. Okay. I've got my Mormons sorted, kind of. Here we go. All right. I need a bigger desk. It's too many Mormons. I have such a big, it's a lot of them. All right. So episode 3 starts out at Macy's house. Okay. And at Macy's, we have, of course, Whitney and Michaela there. Okay. So these 3 are at Macy's. We're over at Macy's house. Okay. And these 2, okay, are like, girl, why weren't you at the baby shower? So now we're going to recap the whole baby shower thing, right? Where everybody came to, Taylor's baby shower, but Whitney didn't. She was like, we are not friends. I'm going to be not there. Okay. And then, of course, the big scandal was that Leanne, Taylor's mom, called Whitney and was like, girlfriend, why are you not here? What's up? Right? And she's like, well, maybe that's a conversation for me and your daughter to have. Like, the scandal. Okay, so they bring that up with her. Like, why weren't you there? What's up? And she's like, yeah, well, I didn't want to go and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, if I had known that Leanne was calling me on the phone, I would not have picked up. She didn't have Leanne's number saved in her phone. She didn't have it. She didn't have it saved in the phone. That is crazy. Okay, so that's why she picked up, or else she would have just let it go to voicemail. Like, right? Okay, so then we see like one-on-ones with, oh gosh, now I'm mixing up my Mormons here, with Michaela and Whitney. Okay, now guys, remember I told you, Macy, this girl right here, she is the most trouble. Everybody thinks it's Whitney. Whitney is very opinionated. She's very like, I'm a good Mormon and you're not. Okay, that's fine. But this one right here, da-dum, da-dum, dum, 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 she is the shark of the show. She is trouble. Okay. So these two do stand up one-on-one solo interviews. And they're like, I don't know. This was a bad look. Like, why didn't she just go? She's trying to make it about her. And they're talking about Whitney, that she is a drama queen and she likes to make things about her. Okay. Now, the next part, it was just so fake. It was so like, they were like, yeah, you shouldn't do it. Like, especially this one. Yeah, we support you. You don't have to do it. Like, oh my God. Awful. Awful. Okay. So then, now, for you guys who are not in the know, I went over this yesterday. I got corrected. I'm learning so much about Mormonism, guys. Okay. I'm learning so much. So first of all, they're not allowed to have the caffeine, right? And hot, whatever. Okay. So there's a lot of different stories. Then I found out that the reason why Mormons are not allowed to have caffeine, are you guys ready for this? Because some guy in town refused to sell Joseph Smith, coffee beans or some shit one day. And so he's like, no caffeine for everybody that follows me. Right. So, if you guys don't know the whole story of Joseph Smith, eventually he was tarred and feathered, which you do not survive that. That is like Game of Thrones shit. Right. That is like you're getting liquefied by molten tar. And then they throw feathers on you just to make you decorative, kind of like a little, exciting decorative death. Right. But the Mormons claim that he was tarred and feathered for being a Mormon. Partially true. He was tarred and feathered for being a false prophet, right? The Mormons don't like to say that because then it makes them seem like unchristian, right? But that's the real deal. He was tarred and feathered for being a false prophet of God, right? Okay, so this guy Joseph Smith, man, but then people just carried on the cult after he died because he not only did Jesus die for your sins, but Joseph Smith did as well. Right. He's just, it's just stupid. So in Utah, there are things, instead of like Starbucks everywhere, there are soda shops everywhere. Okay. Now, please be sitting down. So Mormons will take a drink like this. Also, they drink Coke and Mountain Dew and shit that has caffeine in it, but I don't understand that. I'm not going to get into that. But they'll take a drink like this, put it over ice, and add coffee creamer to it. Like I'm talking, the international, different flavored creamers. Yeah. Just let that sink in for a minute. That they are drinking Sprite with coffee creamer in it. And they're like, delicious. And they have drive-through, places that are these huge chains. It's like a whole thing. Okay. So now they're having a soda party at the Affleck's house, okay? Because we have to mention every time we see her that she's Jen Affleck. Like, no, bitch, nobody else has their last name in any Chiron. Just this bitch. But we learned something very heartbreaking about Jen. I was joking about the non-diversity in this cast. Turns out I was wrong. Layla isn't the only person of color here, okay? So Jen is at the party. And she sits down and does this one-on-one. I'm going to pull up the photo that I took, guys, okay? Just to prove that it is Jen Affleck on all the Chirons, okay? So here she is, Jen Affleck. Like, we don't need, it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary to put that on there, okay? So here she is. Now, I want you to see the pain on her face right here. This is a pain face. She's introducing her husband. They're having a graduation party, so that's why they're having the soda party, because Zach has just graduated BYU and he's about to go on to medical school to follow in his father and grandfather's footsteps. His dad is a heart surgeon. His grandpa was a heart surgeon. And so little Zachy Poo is also going to become a heart surgeon. So we find out, we see Jen's parents come in and they're adorbs. Okay, her dad is white. Her mom we find out, is from Ecuador. Okay. She doesn't speak a lot of English. And as Jen is saying this, you are seeing more and more pain on her face. Like she is getting more ashamed because Zach's mom, again, this is like Game of Thrones guy. Look at the whiteness. Look at it. Just, it can't get more white than this guy. Okay. His mom is like super white. His dad is super white. Okay. The moms don't really see eye to eye. She says, basically, to give you the awkwardness level, my mom is a cleaning lady at the same hospital that Zach's dad is a surgeon at. That's what she's saying here. And then she's like, oh, that's awkward. And then she does this. I felt so bad for her in this moment to just like literally, display that pain and know that she is considered inferior in her own church. Okay. Because it's not it's an open secret that, Joseph Smith decided that people of color are dark because they're marked by Satan. Right. So, yeah. I felt really bad for her in that moment. And you kind of see the dynamic here between him and his, poor, she doesn't come from a good family, right? She comes from a poor background. I don't know what her dad does. She doesn't ever say, but like the mom shame on her is enormous. Okay. So they're at the soda party. And shocking alert, guys. Whitney and Taylor still fighting. Okay. But what we find out at the soda party, because part of the soda party is they're all going to go hot tubbing. Okay. At Zach's mom's house. Okay. So Tay can't do that because she's pregnante, right? So right as she's leaving, Taylor goes to Whitney like in person and is like, girl, let's work it out. Let's talk about it. And Whitney's like, I don't know. Oh, you want to talk about it? Like she won't, like Taylor's trying to make this right. She's trying to talk to her about it. So then Taylor leaves. Whitney's still there. Trouble. Yeah, this girl is trouble. Okay. So Macy comes up and like, girl, what's going on? Why don't you just talk to Tay? And she's like, because last time I was vulnerable, Tay told my spotlight. So remember when I told you in the first episode, okay, when Whit moves back to town, she has a confrontation with her Hubbers and is like, we're going to come clean about your Tinder addiction. Okay. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So then they're all at the party. All the girls are at a party. And Whit's like, Connor was addicted to porn and it's been real sad. And he was on Tinder and he was like sexting all these women. And then Taylor doesn't even skip a beat. It's like, I've been pregnant for 4 months and I'm bleeding and I have to go to the hospital. And so Whitney is still mad that Tay stole her spotlight in the drama Olympics. That's why she is not going to let it go. Like, oh my God. Okay. So, but again, does Whitney say to her, ooh, why is that doing that? I moved around. I'm sorry, guys. I hit the, my mouse and it flew me across the screen. So why didn't Macy say, girl, you got to drop that. Like, that's too much. She's just like, hanging on to it for later. Remember that. All right. So now the next, so at the soda party, they're all hot tubbing. Okay. And where is he? Where is my Bajumba? Nope. Yes. Okay. So no, not that guy, this guy. Okay. Remember how I said, guys, there's a scene where Jessie is the hairstylist. Okay. And Demi's getting her hair done. And I swear to God, it just looks like sisters doing hair in a hair salon together. Okay. But Jessie's husband, Jordan. Okay. What does he bring to the soda party filled with devout Mormons? A flask filled with what? Vodka. And what is he drinking? What soda is he drinking, guys? What would go with vodka? What soda goes with vodka? Oh, this one. Sprite could go with vodka. What else? Ginger ale? He's drinking a Mountain Dew, guys. Mountain Dew and vodka. What is happening? No, they're not the same person. They're not, Adkins. Look, okay, it's to me, Jessie. They're two different ladies, but they are like, they have the Mormon face. I don't know what to tell you. All right. So they're all in the hot tub. She's taking shots off her husband's little flask that he brought. They're the only ones really drinking. Nobody else shared in the Mountain Dew and flask juice. Okay. So, but it's going to come up later because now they're at a super devout Mormon's house, right? Zach attacks, parents. And Jenna's like, this is a bad look. If his parents find out, we're going to be in big trouble because MOMTOK is already bad, right? Okay. So the pool party's over. Now, the next thing that these ladies are going to, okay, now we're seeing the true division. Okay. So next we have, of course, Macy, troublemaker, Michaela, Whitney, and the Plastics' new recruit, okay, Jen. And what are these four ladies doing? What are they doing? They're going to get Botox. But apparently, now, as a Mormon, as a devout Mormon, these three ladies here, well, Whitney considers herself, Macy, and Jen to be the most devout. She kind of left Michaela out of that. But these four are going to go get Botox. Now, explain to me, Mormons out there, how you're not supposed to put anything unclean in or on your body as a Mormon, but yet you can inject literal toxicity, okay? Literal botulism into your body. And then on top of that, this one. She's like, ladies, while we're getting the Botox, let's get the laughing gas because it's for free and it doesn't cost any extra. So this bitch is sitting in the chair getting high AF on laughing gas, which I also don't understand. You can't drink a coffee, but you can suck on a laughing gas fucking little, like as if you're doing a, albuterol treatment, just sucking it down like I'm waiting to get high. But actually, the first one to go on that was Michaela, and she had never done any type of drugs in her whole life. And these three are just laughing at her. Like, she is like flipping out a little bit on this laughing gas while she's getting Botox. Okay. So it's a Botox laughing gas party. Okay. Then as the Botox is happening, Jen is like, hey guys, my baby blessing's coming up and I'm feeling conflicted, should I invite everybody, like all of MOMTOK? And these girls, Whitney, of course, right away is like, don't you dare. Michaela's like, quiet. And of course, this one dun, 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 is like, do you have to? Do you have to? And she's like, yeah, I mean, it's super holy. And I feel like they're just not on the same page, like as us, as being like devout, this is a super spiritual situation. So this is something I didn't know anything about, the baby blessing. Like in Scientology, you have, it's not a baptism, but you have what's called a naming ceremony. Okay. And there's like a whole little procedure for that. And you get godparents and all that kind of stuff. And I've heard of like baptisms, my mom grew up Episcopalian. My dad grew up Seventh-day Adventist. So I witnessed baptisms at both of those churches, right? This is a whole other thing, okay? We'll get to the baby blessing in a minute. So these two basically convinced Jen to not invite the sinners, right? We are the saints. Ah! And we're not going to have the sinners there because they don't really care about Mormonism. Look how they're living their life, right? So she doesn't uninvite anybody. So we find out, okay, and really it's because of the alcohol that Jessie brought to the party, right? So we find out that Jen, 2 weeks earlier, okay, while she was on a car ride with Layla, with Jessie, okay, and with Demi. They were all in a car together 2 weeks earlier. Okay. And she's like, guys, the baby blessing's coming up. And she gives the date and time. Can you guys come? And all three of these ladies were like, yeah, we will be there. We're going to put it on our calendar. We're going to do it. Okay. So keep in mind, okay, that these are the sinners. Oh, also Tay-Tay. Don't forget. Tay-Tay's a sinner, right? But Tay-Tay had been invited too, because like it was like everybody, they had talked about it as a MOMTOK thing. Okay. So now we go. Michaela did this great stand-up by herself. She's like, Whitney is dividing us. I don't appreciate. So Whitney's kind of like an outlier. She's very quiet during a lot of the nonsense. She's very like standoffish. Okay. So Jen doesn't tell these ladies that they are not invited. Okay. So now the next thing that we're going to, because these guys just only do parties, right? Jessie, where did I go here? Where's my Jessie? Oh, she's over here. Okay, so Jessie, these two, this is now the scene where Jessie, the hairdresser, okay, she does everybody's hair because she has a salon in town, right, is doing Demi's extensions, okay? And so they're talking. And Demi says, hey, I was talking to, guess who, y'all? Guess who she was talking to? Dun, 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 dun. She's like talking to Macy. They went to lunch. And Demi's like, yeah, I said, oh, hey, I have to get a dress for the blessing. And Macy's like, oh, I don't think you're invited to that. She says this to her. I don't think you're invited to that. Okay, keep this in mind. So then these two are like, what the fuck? How are we not invited? What's up? So they FaceTime Jen. Okay. And they're like, hey, you totally told us we put this on our calendar. What's up? And she's like, guys, I'm getting super emotional. Like, I just feel like you guys aren't good Mormons. And like, I can't really talk about it. I don't know why I didn't call you or tell you. Zach, can you come tell them why they can't come? And he's like, hey, ladies, it's about the baby. It's about Luca. It's not about you guys. Okay. And you guys, I don't even know you. What? I don't know you. I don't know your husbands. I don't hang out with you guys. So I'm uninviting you. And they're like, okay, bro, you could have just called us. It could have just been a phone call. And he's like, yeah, peace. Like, what? Like she fully was like, I don't know what to do, husband. Right. So he came and covered for her in that. And it was like, oh my God, girl. This is not a good look. It's not a good look. Okay. So then, oh God. Okay. So now, for some reason, Demi's still trying to make MOMTOK happen, the 8 of them. She already had Galentine's planned. Okay. Which I'm sure that, her elder husband had to explain to her because I don't know if she watched Parks and Rec or not. If you're not familiar with what Galentine's is, this is a Leslie Knope thing from Parks and Rec that, Amy Poehler invented for the world and ladies everywhere, or, women folks. Okay. And so on February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day, you get together with your girlfriends and celebrate womanhood. Okay. So in this episode, I will say Brett was super cute because Demi is famously late, right? She thought the party started at 7:30. It started at 7. This is a party she's throwing, guys. So Brett's like, can anybody help me with the charcuterie board? Like he's just like roaming around, getting women in there. She comes out several times in just her bra, to greet people who are coming into her home for a party. Okay. So then everybody shows up to the party. Now, Tay-Tay's at the party already. And of course, Michaela, Whitney, and Macy are getting ready together. They're getting ready separately at someone's house. It didn't say. And Macy, the shit stirrer of shit stirrers, is like, I hope Demi has something together. I mean, she is never going to recover from that fruity cereal story. And Michaela's like, what? And then these two are like, ah! So of course, Michaela's like, well, are you going to tell me the story or what? And Whit's like, come over here. I'll whisper it to you. And they whisper it. And Michaela's like, falls down. She's so shocked. And then Whitney decides she's going to reenact this story with Macy, makes Macy lie down. Okay. And then straddles her to reenact this, because apparently Demi, at some party they were at, confided some sex story involving Fruity Pebbles with her husband. She called him on speakerphone, and he did not know that these two were listening to the conversation while Demi is sexy talking her husband, okay, about some thing they did with her nene on his face and Fruity Pebbles in that mix. Now, just as a disclaimer, guys, I'm not a medical professional, okay? I'm not a gynecologist, but don't put cereal in your nene, okay? Don't do it. That is, your nene's not for that, okay? It, many things can enter that, but not cereal, okay? Like, let's not start that trend, okay? Let's just not. But I felt so bad because now these two are gossiping. They are just like, oh my God. And Michaela, poor little baby, innocent Michaela, is like, I mean, she got pregnant in 16, y'all. Okay. So that just tells you she's not, you know, it happened. And now she's married to that guy. And, you know, they seem cute. Their babies are cute. You know, I don't have anything negative to say about Michaela. But yeah, now these two, awful. They are just laughing it up. So hilarious. So then what does Whitney do? She gets an extra large bag, like the generic Fruity Pebbles from like Fred Meyer, or, you know, like whatever Kroger store you have in your area that you can buy. That's like huge. She gets a really beautiful like pink box that looks like it comes from like Tiffany's or something fancy. And she fills the box with the Fruity Pebbles. Michaela is like, girl, this is not a good idea. And she's like, it's funny. It's funny. It's just a present for just me, because they all got presents for like everybody to share or something for this Galentine's. Okay. Also, everybody else is dressed up. What does Whitney wear to Galentine's? Pajamas. Now, granted, she did steam them out and they were probably designer, but pajamas, it was a come as you are party. This bitch is like, I'm Sandra D and this is our Grease party. So the plastics show up. You know, Tay-Tay's still on the outside. Where's my Tay-Tay? Where'd she go? She's buried. I don't know. I've lost a Mormon. Mormon down. That's Jen. Where's Taylor? Okay, here's Taylor. So Taylor is still pregnant, right? And she's off talking to a bunch of other people because Demi invited hella people to this party. It wasn't just MOMTOK. It was like also like other people that she knew in town. Okay. So Tay-Tay's like talking to these other people in the other room. Meanwhile, we have Whitney, Michaela, okay. And before this, I'm going to put Whitney down for a minute. Okay. So Michaela, Whitney, all the ladies, okay, except for Whitney, are all in. I'm trying to get all my ladies. Okay, there's only one single lady here. Otherwise, that song would be relevant. Okay, so these girls are all in the kitchen, just chatting it up before the party starts. Okay. Demi, where's my Demi? She's upstairs still, getting ready. So these ladies are talking. And what happens? What happens? Macy says to Taylor, she says it to Taylor, I guess I'll see you on Sunday at the baby shower. She says this after she's part of the conversation to tell Jen, don't invite them. She says to Tay-Tay, oh, I guess I'll see you at the party. And then she looks around because then fucking Jesse and Jesse and Michaela look at each other because they know what's up. And Michaela's like, what are you talking about? Michaela's standing right next to Macy. Okay. And even Michaela's like, girl, why would you say that? Now, Layla is totally out of the loop. She's just sitting there like, wait, what's happening? And then Jen's like, oh, guys, actually, I just invited only, Whitney and Macy and Michaela because, it's a super spiritual thing. And, I just want the most devout people there. I just don't want any drama. And so then that's when Tay Tay is like, oh, so the saints are going and the sinners aren't, right? So then we have our two groups here, the saints and the sinners. Okay. So now it's super awkward, but guys, this is what I'm talking about. Macy is the shit stirrer. She is the shit stirrer. She knew. She talked to Jen and was like, yeah, you don't have to invite them. And then it's like literally, oh, Tay-Tay, I'll see you at the party, right? Oh, whoops. Oh, did I forget I was totally getting high on the fucking laughing gas and getting Botox? I forgot, bitch. You did not forget. You did not forget. Macy, I'm calling you out right now. You're the worst. So we have that super awkward moment. Then Demi thinks that this Galentine's Day, she put out in her words, 80 texts. I don't know if it was 80 texts. That's a lot of texts. But it could have been 80 texts. She wanted this Galentine's party. Okay. In her words, the edict was, this is going to shake up Mormon culture by owning sexuality and being with the girls. We're pushing Mormonism to a more progressive era. Okay. So then Whitney's like, I have a special present just for you. And now, thankfully, everybody wasn't gathered around to watch the opening of this present. It was just MOMTOK women. So Demi's like, oh my God, that's so thoughtful of you, Whitney. I mean, oh, it's so beautiful. Look at this. It's crazy. She opens it up and sees the Fruity Pebbles and is like, she doesn't get it at first. She is cackling. Jen is like, what is this about? They didn't tell Jen the story. Michaela's like, uh-oh. This one's like, ha! Okay. And then it starts to dawn on Demi what this means. And she's like, hey, I sent out all these texts to tell you that this wasn't about drama. This was about coming together. This was about owning our femininity. And you're taking an intimate moment that I told you about in confidence, and you're, putting it out everywhere, literally on national television, Whitney. So Demi gets legit mad and walks away. She's like, thanks for this, Whitney, thanks. And so she walks away. Now, Whitney, in classic gaslighter fashion, now is like, well, now I'm mad because she ruined the joke. Whitney, come on, sister friend. That's rich. So then, of course, she turns all the attention on her, right? And Michaela in her one-on-one is like, typical Wit, trying to grab the spotlight. Okay. I don't know what else to say about the Fruity Pebbles, guys. But please don't put those in your nay-nay. Okay. And if you do freaky deaky food stuff with your spouse, that's okay. That's okay. There's no shame in that. I'm just saying, for health reasons, it's probably not a good idea to put Fruity Pebbles or any cereal in the downstairs kitty cat. Okay? Let's not. Yeah. Stephanie, I think this is wonderful. Stephanie Thee says, hey, now easy on the age difference thing. I'm 13 years older than my hubs. I had our only child at 38. And we've been together 23 years in February of 2025. We celebrate 25 years married. Congrats on your marriage. Congrats. And I hope you guys, go off into the sunset together. But that's my own personal story on watching what happens when and that's only 13 years, right? It's not almost 20 years. There is a big difference between that, guys. And those differences are very relevant when you're young, right? And then they're very relevant again when you're very old. In the in-between times, like right now, age ain't nothing but a number. You guys are the samesies, right? But later, that can become significantly harder on the relationship. That's all I'm saying. But I think you guys got it. 25 years, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Okay? All right. So now, guys, this episode isn't even over yet. Okay? So now, So now for some reason, it's the baby blessing. Okay? So we have the all of the saints. Where's all the rest of my saints? At the baby blessing. Okay? Got to get my saints together. And then the saints go marching in. And they're here for, of course, this lady and her baby. Okay? These are the saints. They're at Zach's parents' house again. I guess that's just nicer than their house or something. Okay? So these ladies are all at the baby blessing. Meanwhile, and the husbands are there too, of course, right? And all the kids. It's a big deal. It's like a whole thing, but it happens at the house. Okay? The sinners, okay, let's not forget our sinners, have decided to break the Sabbath together and go bowling. I say, you go, girls, get it on. Bowl. If you've never seen Grease 2, there's a great song about bowling, and I think everybody should do it. Okay. So they're bowling, and they're just like laying it out that like this MOMTOK has been separated, but they all think that Jen is getting sucked into the cult, right? That Jen might be able to flip back because she was besties with Tay-Tay and other girls, but now she's gone to the Whitney side, right? Okay. So now I did learn something about a baby blessing in the Mormon culture that I was not aware of. So people got up, they said nice things about both Zach and Jen, right? Complimenting their parenting, complimenting the baby, and you know, in Jesus's name and all this stuff. Okay, but then what happens is Zach takes the baby like he's in the Lion King, holding little Luca, and a bunch of the other men. It probably wasn't even the dads, but like his homies and his dad get in a circle around him. Their left arms are touching each other's left shoulder or their right shoulder in this tight circle, and their right arms are touching the baby. Okay. And then some secret words are said. Meanwhile, all of the women sit quietly with their faces bowed, eyes closed. Okay. Not saying anything. While the men are doing the heebie-jeebies, hooba-boo-boo, the blessing. Okay. The hundiamo shindiaye on the baby. Because in the Mormon church, I learned this today, only men carry the priesthood in the church. There are no female priests in the Mormon church. They do not allow them. They do not believe in them. So the baby blessings, even though the woman is the vessel, she grows the baby, she makes the baby would not exist without her magic innards known as the womb. The men get to bestow the blessing because, you know, men. This is, you know, in Scientology, it's very misogynistic as well, unless you're in the Sea Org. And then there's like some fake semblance of, you know, equality where women are called sir, which is really bad. But it is just literally like, you know, insane. But what's going to be even more insane? Oh, I forgot that when Tay-Tay found out that she was uninvited to the baby blessing, don't forget she's pregnante. So she pointed at Jesse and Kayla and was like, well, I'm inviting you and not anybody else to my baby blessing. Like, and then they were all like, oh, I see how it is. Oh, you're trying to cause division. Macy's like, oh, saints versus sinners. Yeah, Macy, you're the shit stirrer. Shit meat, Macy. Yeah. Okay. So the next episode is going to be even more unhinged. The preview is, whose birthday is it? That's right, the shit stirrers. It's Macy's birthday. And what has she decided? She's inviting everybody on a weekend getaway, okay, to the middle of nowhere in a cabin to see if we can get MOMTOK back together. Guys, how do you think this is going to go? In the preview, who's crying? Who's doing crouched crying like strictly Bachelorette style? Whitney. Who's going to be the most drama? Whitney. Guys, you can't write this stuff. You cannot write, and we haven't even gotten to the swinging part yet. We haven't even gotten to the confrontation of who is swinging with who. This stuff is amazing. And I'm giddy now because I have all these little, look at this. Look at him. Look at Brett. Right? And then we've got Jacob. Don't forget, we got to introduce all our hotties again. Zack Attack. Okay. Jace. Don't forget Jordan. And of course, everybody's favorite. I'm not gay, Connor. Okay. Guys, I know I'm not supposed to say that. I'm not supposed to gay shame people. I'm also gay and very closeted. I was closeted for a long time. But even my teen looked at this cutout and was like, that guy looks gay. Yeah. So that is just, yeah. So let me jump into the comments and questions here. Comment here. Okay. Freebird, I get it. I'm doing more Scientology content tomorrow. But, you know, this is... If you missed the announcement, the special announcement, please go back and watch that. I am expanding beyond just Scientology. Also, I need to have fun sometimes, guys, because Scientology is a lot. It's a lot of brain space. It's hurtful. So two main channels doing the same content. We're losing momentum and interest. More focus on Fat Grammy, LA Audit, and more people doing similar work. We need to see Scientology impacted. And I agree. Okay. 100%. Caroline in Canada. Hi, Nora. Thanks for getting me into this show. No spoilers, but love to me and Jesse and you. Well, thank you. Thank you. This show, by the way, Caroline, is only spoilers. So if you haven't watched episode 3, I just told you everything that's going to happen. But yeah, for sure, keep watching. Yeah, stupid truth about Joseph Smith on the caffeine. I know it's so silly, but it's so like L. Ron Hubbard and how he totally rejected all of psychiatry and any other therapy because they turned him down. So that's typical of a cult leader, though, right? Okay, so we do have Starbucks and Beans and Brew, etc. The soda shops is just a new fad that happened in the last few years. Okay, well, thank you, Galen. This is on the street reporting from Galen in Utah. Galen also says being white is a big thing in Utah. It's sickening. Yeah, it is very white in Utah. This is very true. Candy's Life says sometime I will share my near membership. Whoa, with the LDS Church. I was almost baptized and they wanted me to separate from my spouse. Holy cannolis, Candy's Life. I want to hear that story, 100%. Porn and antidepressants are widespread addiction in Utah due to the no caffeine and no alcohol. Okay, so Utah's like #1 for porn because they can't have Coke? That's sad. Guys, you got to fix that. You got to fix that. They get around the no alcohol rule by using prescription drugs. Yeah, I would imagine. Because then it's like, it's not illegal and it's not alcohol. So, yeah. Oh, that's not a sanctioned baby blessing? It happens at church. Well, you know what? I bet they did it, Galen, though, because they had to film it. So they probably did one at the church and then they did another one at the house. Because the Mormon church isn't going to let them in to the church, right? That's not going to happen. So, yeah. Shula G says, I finished watching episodes last night. Love your view and the crafts. Thank you. And thank you to my beautiful wife for making all the men today. Such a lesbian task to craft Mormon men, you know. only a hardcore lesbian could have gotten that done, and my wife did it. So. Oh my goodness. Marilee, not planning on watching the show, but I live for your recaps. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm going to keep doing them, and I'm going to recap more stuff, guys. If you guys have suggestions on shows you want me to check out, I'm going to be diving into other cult documentaries and things like that throughout the year and as time goes on. But yeah, get ready for more recaps of a lot of stuff. Vicky Schultz says, "Oh my gosh, you are so funny. I'm loving the puppet show. I'm riveted. So much fun. Thank you. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you." Utah is #1 for Jell-O too, or was in the 70s, 80s. What are they doing with all this Jell-O? I'm scared. I'm frightened now. Let me check out the questions here. Okay, question from DJ Better. Why can these women be considered Mormon? Right. I mean, like half of them aren't even doing the Mormon stuff. I don't see anybody wearing magic underwear. Like, what's the deal? What about the use of birth control? I don't know. They haven't talked about if they're doing that or not. Right. So I don't know what the rule on that is. Emily, how are you remembering all this? Do you enjoy a frosty caffeinated beverage before going live? Yes, of course. Also, normally I have, guys, I do have a blessing and a curse. I have a photographic memory, especially of like movies and TV shows that I watch. At one point, when my mom and I were living together, we were watching 72 different shows. I counted them one day on the DVR because we had actually 3 DVRs to record all those shows. Thank you, DirecTV and the DVR storage. And I could keep the plot line straight of all 72 of those shows, which were all very different, which was helpful to my mom because then, you know, some guy would walk in and be like, she'd be like, who's that guy? I'm like, remember in season 2, he was in the episode where the coroner found the dead body and turns out that he's Joe's cousin. And she was like, how do you remember that? I'm like, because it's the show. I remember the show in my mind. Yeah. So, okay. Thank you for No Kids in Scientology. Can you have laughing gas in Scientology? No, you cannot. No, you cannot. If you're going to the dentist, you can get numb, you know, to get the dental work done. But you cannot, in any certain terms, get, you know, extra accoutrement. We're not even allowed pain pills, guys. Okay. Like, I was hardcore Scientologist when I was a kid, and I had my wisdom teeth out at 17. And they wanted to give me Oxy. I said no, but I will take, you know, some souped up Tylenol. So they gave me 800 milligrams of Tylenol, right? Because they were like, you know, you're going to be in a lot of pain. And so I went to my follow-up visit, and this nurse was like, did you have pain? I'm like, yeah, bitch, I had pain. I had my wisdom teeth out. Like, I'm a fucking human being. Of course there was pain. You know, like, but I wasn't taking the painkillers because I was like, oh, I don't want to mess up my whole track and have all my pictures wrong. Yeah. So, yeah, that's just how that went. But now, hey, listen, guys, if I get, yes, Vicky, I did say your name. I did say your name. Yeah. Listen, and Marcy, that's okay. If you need laughing gas to make yourself comfortable to get dental work done, I say go for it. I say go for it. That's totally okay. I had a really, when I was a child, before I got hardcore in, there's a whole period where my mom and dad weren't really doing it. I went to a dentist and they insisted that I have laughing gas. Okay, so I have had laughing gas one time, once. This was the most horrific experience that I had up until I had a Valium before the wisdom teeth. Okay. Drugs and me are not a good combo, guys. Okay. Because I have a very strong reaction to my body getting into altered states of being. So they put me on the laughing gas. I tried to hold my breath for like 2 minutes. I didn't want to breathe it. It smelled disgusting. I was upset by it. It also reminded me of when I had my tonsils and adenoids out. They had, you know, knocked me out. And so I was starting to feel really queasy. I was having what I now know is a vasovagal response, you I was all like adrenaline out. I was having a freak out, guys. I was having a total panic attack getting this laughing gas. And this dentist was an ass. And he made me just like, he pushed on my stomach so I would start breathing. And then the next thing I remember is I started hallucinating, like big time. Okay. I was seeing the doctor and the nurse like floating above me, and it looked like they were like huffing the laughing gas too, and they were like, yeah, and like saying all this weird shit. And then I said, I want to go, like I want to leave, and they're like, no, we're not done yet. And then I started freaking out because I thought the thing was still on my face. I thought it was still laughing gas, and I was like, they're like, no, you're breathing oxygen now, you're fine. And I had such a panic that like all of the loosey-goosiness of the laughing gas like burnt off, right? Yeah, it was not good for me. I had to get my canines removed because they weren't coming out. And otherwise they were going to go through like the roof of my mouth, the permanent teeth. So that was a really bad experience. That was really bad. Yeah. So this is why I have never done drugs, guys. Like I know people accuse me of a lot of things. I do have ADHD, so I'm just fun at parties, just being me. But yeah, no, drugs and me, it's not a good. I'm not like a hater. If you need it, I'm all for it. If it works for you and it's, administered by a medical professional, unlike these women who are just like literally party time huffing it up at the Botox place. Like it wasn't a mask that went on their face and then they were administered a specific amount of the laughing gas. It was literally a mouthpiece that they could like toke on like they were at a hookah bar. Okay. That to me is unprofessional. That to me is irresponsible. And this person administering the Botox, they're probably not even a doctor, right? They don't even have to be a doctor. Okay. So yeah, that's just, cuckoo for, yeah. But you guys will never see me on drugs, because I can't. Okay. Anyway, that's episode 3. We have episode 4. All 8 episodes are on Hulu right now, so you can binge them. I'm just doing this once per day because I need to take a break. Tomorrow's episode. Oh, also, I keep forgetting to tell you guys. So I'm doing another experiment, okay, on the YouTubes here. I have not turned on the monetization yet on the stream. The monetization will be on the replay. That's why if you guys are watching live right now, there are no ads. Okay. So, I'm taking from another creator here to give my pitch. If you guys want to support me, please get a membership, or go, all my links are in my bio. I'll put them in the replay, I have all the things, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. If you want to help me keep creating awesome sauce, if you want to just watch all of the puppet show here, that's okay too. But I'm trying this out where I'm not monetizing it until after the stream is done. Okay, so you guys let me know if that is like a cool beans idea, or if you'd rather just see the ads and just, deal with it. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be talking about a very serious subject, about cults and how people get into them. Okay. And I'm very, very stoked on this one. It's going to be a whammy. I'd love for you guys to tune in here on YouTube. And other than that, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Please dive into this show. Check out MOMTOK. It is wild. It is wilder than I could have ever imagined. But otherwise, I will see you guys on the flippity dippity. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, as always, to all my mods and all my members. And guys, click that link. Scan it, click it, love it. Send me boxes of money. I need it. I'll see you guys on the flippity dippity.